Hello and welcome. My name is Kirsten Wills and I am AASCU's Government Relations Coordinator. Thank you for joining me today as I offer an event overview for AASCU's inaugural AASCU on the Hill, taking place this Wednesday, April 19th and Thursday, April 20th. We hope that it's been clear in our communications thus far, but we are so excited to be hosting such an impactful event here in Washington, D.C., meeting Congress right at their very own doorstep. So without further ado, let's dive right in and see what this is all about and what you can expect at the event. Who should attend AASCU on the Hill, and who are you bringing with you? We encourage college and university leaders to attend, including presidents and chancellors. Given that this event centers around meetings with your federal officials, we encourage your government relations experts to attend as well. If your president can't make it, we encourage you to send your government relations staff in their place to connect with your federal officials. If you have any changes in attendance at this point, you can feel free to email us. I will provide our general contact email at the end of this presentation. We will also be holding a spouse partner symposium taking place in tandem with AASCU on the Hill. I'll also be going over the agenda for that portion shortly. And finally, we invite student campus leaders because who better to share their stories? We will be holding a separate supplemental and free advocacy training for student attendees, which I will get into soon as well. So you're packing your suitcase and you're going through your checklist. What should you bring with you? Hopefully you'll have an ID on you if you're traveling, but it's also good to have it on hand when entering congressional buildings and federal buildings. You should need to present it at security at different congressional buildings, but some offices may prefer it if you have it on you. It's not a super common occurrence for them to ask that, but I have heard of it happening. More importantly, everyone should wear comfortable shoes. If you just got a new pair, but you're not quite sure if they're broken in, but you really, really like them, I'd advise against it. That includes heels that are too high, loafers that pinch your feet, anything of the sort. We'll be doing a lot of walking in between meetings on Capitol grounds, and it can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to get from the House side and the Senate side, vice versa. And that doesn't even include leaving the Capitol complex to go get lunch or go to other meetings. Still, your shoes should be comfortable but also professional, as should the rest of your dress. Suit jackets, pants, ties, skirts, dresses, those are all great. Feel free to wear any professional gear related to your college or university as well. Along those same lines, you will be given an AASCU on the Hill lanyard and name badge at event reception, and we ask that you wear them on the Hill so that you can easily identify your colleagues and represent the event in your meetings. Of course, you'll want to bring your business cards as well as a pen and notebook to take notes during the meeting. Along the lines of paper, we do have a fair amount of event materials, and we're happy to share those out, but this will largely be a paperless event. You may print event materials in advance at the hotel before you leave and keep those handouts on your person for your own reference. However, for example, with our policy one-pagers and our policy priorities document, we ask that you do not distribute them to congressional offices as it may be a distraction while you're making your pitch. As in regards to weather, DC in the spring is kind of unpredictable. It will likely be cool in the morning in the 40s or 50s. I looked at the weather report, and warmer as the day goes on in the 60s or 70s. Right now it is 85 outside, so that's a bit of an anomaly. But it could also rain, so also be prepared to bring an umbrella or a jacket just in case. You will want to have a camera or your phone on you during the meeting, but if you do have your phone on you, make sure it's on silent, of course, so that if the member of Congress or their staff want to take a photo, you will be prepared. If you do take a photo in the congressional office, please wait until the meeting has concluded and, of course, ask for consent beforehand. And finally, the Capitol building does have restrictions as to what you cannot bring inside. That includes the main Capitol dome as well as surrounding congressional buildings, and that largely includes food and beverages. For a full list, you can check out their website at visitthecapitol.gov. I will also be sharing this link out after the presentation. Where will you find yourself during AASCU on the Hill? Mainly all of our programming, all of our general programming will be at Yours Truly Hotel. We have the address listed here. It's also on our website for your reference. Please note hotel registration did close on March 31st. I believe we still have some rooms available, just a small handful, and I'm not quite sure if they're for the discounted rate. If you have any questions or you require accommodations here, feel free to email us at govrel@aascu.org, and we will put you in touch with the correct person at AASCU to assist you. I believe there are also a few other hotels in the area nearby, including the St. Gregory and DuPont Circle, if you require an additional room. For Wednesday, all of our regular AASCU on the Hill programming sessions will be at yours truly, and then we will be there early Thursday morning for the final charge as well. Your meetings on Thursday will, of course, be to be determined as to the exact House or Senate office building until we find that out. Now is also probably an opportune time to mention, please leave cushions for travel time, for traffic delays when getting from the hotel to Capitol Hill. You'll be responsible for your own travel there, but DC traffic can be a little difficult sometimes, especially if you have a meeting during a rush hour time. Please also keep that in mind as well in regards to your meeting scheduling. If you have to leave early due to travel restrictions, if you have a flight or you need to catch the train, please also keep that in mind in regards to your meeting times. With that said, AASCU will be scheduling your meetings for you if you have not already done so. We have been in touch with attendees at this point in regards to their meeting scheduling and their plans. We also have some FAQs on the website more specifically about meeting scheduling, but if you have already scheduled your meetings or you want us to do it for you, and you also have scheduling conflicts, all of these scenarios you may email us at govrel@ascu.org. But if you have not told us that you have scheduled your meetings thus far, AASCU is planning to do it for you. So please just keep in touch with us. Okay, super quick. This is the list of general registration fees for the event. Please note that students have both waived event and advocacy training fees. Presidents and chancellors, their registration, as well as government relations staff, is $200. Spouses and partners are $100. Those who want to attend the optional advocacy workshop who are non-students, that fee is $75. Again, it is complimentary for students. I will get into what that training will be like here in a minute. And then again, students, their entire registration is complimentary, so that fee is waived. And here are our general COVID-19 protocols that are listed on our event website. We are following CDC guidance and of course encourage you to stay at home if you don't feel well or test positive. We encourage you to test before traveling, and masks will be available on site if you prefer to wear one. As for Capitol Hill, it is fully reopened to the public as of this past January, with most offices also following CDC guidance and generally no masking required. If an office prefers you to wear a mask and they let us know, AASCU will be in contact and let you know as well. But generally, we have not heard of offices having any major COVID restrictions, especially in the last 6 months, but we will definitely keep in touch if we do. This piece is listed on our website, but here is a quick outline of our agenda on Wednesday. We encourage participants to fly into DC before noon. If you are attending the optional advocacy workshop, potentially you have students with you, and we encourage all participants that are attending the general sessions to arrive before 1:30. Everything from noon onward is all taking place at Yours Truly Hotel, and we will be featuring our keynote speaker on Wednesday evening. And this part is even shorter because you'll be having your Hill Day on Thursday, but this is Thursday's agenda. Again, please note in regards to Hill Day and scheduling your meetings, AASCU will be scheduling your meetings if you have not done so already or you prefer us to do it. We will be in touch with you in regards to this, as well as who will be in your meetings, the meeting times and locations, a full list of attendees in your meeting. Most House meetings will just be your institution's attendees, but your Senate meetings, depending on who is all participating from your state, might have more groups. Again, we will keep you updated. The agenda is still being updated on our website, I believe, with speakers, so feel free to follow along in this video for a full list of speakers, both within our final charge and for our general programming on Wednesday. You've heard me mention this optional advocacy training, so I'm going to dive a little bit more into that now. My colleague John Patrick Walsh and myself will be leading an entirely optional training for those who may need a little bit more support before their Hill Day on Thursday. This training will take place on Wednesday at noon, and during it we will hold some space for Q&A, go over some storytelling tips, talk about our experiences in meetings as government relations staff, and we will also carve out some time to practice a mock meeting, amongst a few other things. So we hope you'll be able to participate. As promised, this is the agenda for the Spouses and Partners programming part of the event. If you have a question, you can go to the Spouse and Partner Program tab on our new website under the Communities and Convening page. And if you scroll to the bottom, you will find an info form. You can fill that out and reach out to our LDP team. You can also reach out directly to Kathleen Scott, our Vice President of Leadership Development and Partnerships, or Karusha Nadu, our Director of Leadership Development, and we have their emails listed there. This agenda will also be available on our event page. So this may have been the part that you've all been waiting for, but here is our list of confirmed speakers for ASCU on the Hill's general sessions. On Wednesday, April 19th, we'll have our opening session kicked off by ASCU President Dr. Mildred Garcia and Board Chair Dr. Heidi Anderson, President of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Dr. Garcia and Dr. Anderson will offer some opening remarks and then turn it over to President Ron Rochon of the University of Southern Indiana, who is both chair-elect on ASCU's Board of Directors as well as chair of ASCU's Council of State Representatives, or CSR, as we often call it. Dr. Rochon will be joined by Dr. Kirk Nooks, who is also a member of ASCU's board and president of Gordon State College in Georgia. Both presidents will share the stage with ASCU Stewards of Place Fellow and former president of Northern Kentucky University, Ashish Vaidya. Dr. Vaidya recently spearheaded a report titled Recommitting to Stewardship of Place, Creating and Sustaining Thriving Communities for the Decades Ahead, as well as its companion document. Both of these conveniently can be found on our website. The conversation among the three will center around the public policy implications of Stewards of Place. Following this session, attendees will hear from my colleagues, ASCU's Vice President of Government Relations and Policy Analysis, Luis Maldonado, as well as ASCU's Director of Federal Relations and Policy Analysis, John Patrick Walsh. Their session will focus on legislative updates and priorities for the new 118th Congress and what you can expect on the Hill in relation to your meetings with this Congress. Finally, on late Wednesday afternoon, ASCU is honored to host Assistant Secretary for Post-Secondary Education, Dr. Nasser Paydar, to talk about the administration's priorities, concerns, and recent regulatory updates within the Department of Education. This session will be facilitated by Dr. Garcia. And then on the morning of Thursday, April 19th, we'll take some time to gather for a breakfast at Yours Truly Hotel before departing for our Hill meetings. Attendees will hear a final charge from Mr. Bill LaForge, former president of Delta State University, Congressional Chief Legislative Counsel, and Chief of Staff, serving under both Republican and Democrats in Congress. He is also the author of the book Testifying Before Congress. Mr. LaForge will offer some last-minute insight and tips alongside Dr. Jolene Kester, Interim Chancellor of the California State University System, who has served a long and distinguished career within the Cal State system and has much insight. Each speaker will share that insight as to what drives a successful meeting and offer some final words of wisdom as you embark for Capitol Hill. When you get to the Hill, what can you expect to advocate on? ASCU's 3 policy asks are as follows. But for more information and background on these issues, you can watch our Congressional Landscape training, also found on our event page. Hopefully I've addressed many of your questions in this training, but you can find some more FAQs about ASCU on the Hill as well as the answers to those questions on our event page. If you have any additional comments or concerns, feel free to contact me and my team directly. Our contact information is all listed here as well as on our website. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this training. You'll be able to find this training on our YouTube page for future reference once we've concluded here and it's linked. And you can find out many of the resources mentioned, including the event agenda, session descriptions, speakers and bios, policy resources and materials, all available on our event page on our website. Again, please email us with any and all advocacy or event-related questions. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you all next week for our inaugural ASCU on the Hill.